Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For a radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also, tuning in to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. Sometimes when it comes to life, challenges may try to bring us down, but our next guest is someone who's able to not only be able to find encouragement through words, but also help other people along their own journey as well. We're excited to welcome best-selling author Sonya Howell Barrow to our broadcast today. She's the author of a book I had a chance to get on my Kindle that you guys can also be able to get in print as well. It's called Sonya's Little Book of Quotes, a coffee table guide of fire inspirations. And not only is she able to help you to be fearless, but also to be inspired, resilient, and empowered. We'll talk to Sonya about her own journey, what it's been like for her to help others along the way as well. Sonya, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it.
And thank you for showcasing me on your platform today.
Yeah, the pleasure is definitely all mine, Sonya. So, Sonya, I want to talk about this experience for you. As I mentioned, the book is already an Amazon bestseller. What has it been like for you to use your platform and your own experiences to be able to inspire others?
And most importantly, the way that I decided that I would showcase this book is that first, I had to determine my journey as a published author. And I wanted to know, do I write the books just to write them, or do I want to sell books, or do I want to write and sell books? And so because of those three things, my writing for my fire inspirations and what I wanted to do is I wanted to showcase my talents as a skilled writer and as a published author, and I wanted to intrigue my readers with my fire inspirations while they're in their own private space, surrounded with their own personal thoughts, without interruption. Because I want readers to not only read my quotes, but also understand the meaning of these quotes and be able to interpret them in a manner that creates a positive mindset, because that's what's important, nature versus nurture.
And Sonya, to that point, one of the things you mentioned at the very beginning of the book, I mean, as I mentioned, you have the 4 points that you're able to cover there: be fearless, be inspired, be resilient, be empowered. When it comes to being fearless, you do say in the book, fear is always present throughout our lives. So how have you been able to balance that, knowing that fear will come, but not letting it to stop you?
I balance it because, and it goes back to my tagline, like you just said, fire, igniting the joy and love within. So when I be fearless, be inspired, be resilient, and be empowered, I use each one of those different aspects of my tagline to guide and motivate me throughout my life. So when I want to be fearless or do things that require me to be fearless, I think about being fearless and I think about, what can I do to overcome my fear? How can I, not be so afraid or doing whatever? Because and I don't know if you're aware, but I'm a retired military. So let's use that as an example. When I deployed, I was afraid, but I had to look at the big picture. So being fearless and having a be fearless attitude, it allowed me to not be so fearful of things that were coming.
Right.
And then just embrace it.
And I think it's a great reminder for our audience as well, because a lot of times when we are in situations that are foreign to us or may be uncomfortable, sometimes we retreat. But I love the fact that in that part of the book, Sonya, you really help us to see the importance of the keep going forward. And it kind of ties into the I in fire for you as well, to be inspired. And one of the things that you wrote in that part of the book that I wanted to mention for our audience is, you wrote, "You are the prize, never forget, remain focused and always show up for yourself, be inspired to win, you deserve it." And you mentioned 4 points there, and the one I want to focus on is this: although some days may be challenging, keep going. And I think it's a great connection with being fearless. So, life is going to happen to all of us, Sonya. What do you normally say to people when they do feel like giving up? when challenges come? How do you help them to know the importance of keeping going and keep moving forward?
And what I tell people when I want them to keep going is a better day is coming. There will be a brighter tomorrow. Although you have fear in you, be inspired to keep going because tomorrow will come. So just don't stop. Just keep pushing yourself to your limits. Don't over-push yourself, but your limits. And so because you know your limits and you know what you're capable of doing, be inspired to keep going.
You also say in that part of the book, Sonya, that my inspirations are my cheerleaders, and they're rooting for their favorite team, me. I thought that was interesting because a lot of times, we're so busy rooting for other people, we sometimes forget about ourselves. How important has it been for you to make sure that you're not leaving yourself off the list when it comes to life?
Because what you have to do and what I do is not everyone is going to be for you. Some people will be against you, and that is okay. And so being your own cheerleader, first and foremost, you always think, okay, as long as I can do it, I'm okay, because everybody's not going to cheer for me. As long as I cheer for myself, I can keep going. And I will be, I can keep going. Because sometimes we look for other people's approval and other people's guidance and other people's, hey, yeah, you got this. But not everybody is going to be honest and truthful and forthcoming. And some people want you to fail. And so if you are always your number one cheerleader and your number one fan, you would think, if they can do it, so can I. And that's why I'm my number one cheerleader, because I always think, if they can do it, so can I.
Such a great point. Such a great reminder for our audience. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome best-selling author Sonya Howell Barrow to our broadcast today. We're talking with her about her best-selling book, Sonya's little book of quotes, a coffee table guide of fire inspirations. And as you guys can tell from this conversation already, FIRE, of course, is an acronym that she's using for the very items we're talking about today, being fearless, inspired, resilient, and empowered. I want to go to the R there in FIRE, Sonya, with resilient. And you say this in the book, and again, I think this is a great thing for our audience to keep in mind. My Be Resilient approach in life has helped me to remain vigilant and focused despite my circumstances. This skill allowed me to bounce back wiser and stronger. And again, I think it kind of goes to what we all know is that sometimes life can knock you down, right? And then we have a decision to make. Are we going to stay down? Or are we going to get back up and keep going? What has helped you to get to that place, Sonya, to get to a place where even when life may knock you down, to make sure that you do keep going and as you say there in the book, to bounce back wiser and stronger?
So one of the things that comes to mind when you ask me a question is, back in 2013, out of the blue, and I really do mean out of the blue, I was informed that I had medullary thyroid cancer. And my first instinct was, I'm the house. So as the house, I can't fall. If I fall, because I'm the foundation of the house, in proverbial speaking.
Right.
And I said, I got to keep going. I'm a single parent. I'm still active duty Army at this point. And right now I'm in America and I'm stationed in Germany and I got to go back to Germany. And I cannot go back there afraid and scared. So I did all my tears. I did all my crying, all my praying. And I said, okay, I got to get surgery. And then when I went back to Germany, I went back with a different, stronger mindset, because I always say to myself, if God can bring me to it, he will bring me through it. And by the grace of God, because I was almost at 20 years in the Army, I retired at 26 years, but at this point I was at 20 years almost. And I could have retired at 20 years and not know I had medullary thyroid cancer. But I found out. And so that in itself made me more, it strengthened my foundation of my life and of my well-being. Because as a single parent, I knew that I had to keep going. And so that's one of the things I think about when I think about being resilient. Because when life throws you lemons, so to speak, turn them into lemonade. And that's why being resilient is very important to me. Because I turn every situation into lemonade, a tall glass of lemonade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it easy for you, Sonya? Well, let me ask you this question: Is it has it helped you in your life when things come up to remember, like you were just saying, where you've come from? Does that kind of help you in facing new challenges, knowing what you've already been through?
It does, and because I've been through so much in my life, and which is why I have a 2-part memoir coming out that's called She Is Me, Define My Life's Obstacles by Not Becoming a Statistic. Book 1, The Struggle is Real, and Book 2, Smile for Me. And I say that because in reading my memoir, then you will clearly understand the fire in me, because I've overcome so much, and I've always had to be resilient. And my fire inspiration is my how. My memoir is my what. And my 2 sons are my heartbeats, they're my why. And all that is combined, and it makes up my story.
Yeah. Yeah, that brings up something else that you wrote in that part of the book, Sonya. And again, we're going to remind our audience how they can be able to get it. But as we're kind of having this conversation and we're talking about being resilient, you do say it's your story, write it, enjoy it, and tell it well. So do you almost feel an obligation then to share not only what you've been through, but what helped you get through it?
Yes. I have an obligation to share because, and I guess it's based off my actual fire quotes, because I don't want the reader to just read the quote. I want them to understand and comprehend my fire inspirational quotes, and also they will have an example of my experiences of dealing with my life challenges, I should say, and how my fire quotes help me to overcome them.
Yeah. It's a great reminder for us all. The final letter, of course, in fire, of course, is the E, and that brings us to empowered then, Sonya. You write this in the book: empowered individuals are unstoppable while in pursuit of their goals, dreams, and ambitions. These individuals are not only bold and confident in their decisions, but also determined in their actions. They can and will go after whatever it is they want and desire. So I want to talk about, for our audience, what do you hope they're able to realize once they get to the E in fire and think about what it means to be empowered, Sonya? What do you want them to know about what's possible for them?
That whatever they want to do and whatever they want to achieve, they can. They can be confident and in their knowledge, and just know that if they want to pursue whatever it is, their dreams, goals, and ambitions, if they want it, they can achieve it. And they can have the confidence of knowing that they can and they will do what they need to do, and they will get it done. Because pretty much that's why I think about the can-do attitude. And that's why I think about, if they can do it, so can you. So can you. So look in the mirror. When when you're empowered, look yourself in the mirror and say, so can you. They can, so can you. Wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror and say, so can you. Empower your mind. Empower your thoughts to say, so can you.
Say, Sonya, one of the things that you mentioned in that particular part of the book too, for being empowered, is to set realistic goals and expectations that can be accomplished in a timely manner. I thought that was interesting because I think there's nothing wrong with having big goals. I think that's great, but I think a lot of times we forget their steps sometimes to get to those big goals. How important has that been for you to not only to set goals and expectations, but to make sure, Sonya, that they are realistic?
It's very important because sometimes, and just like you said, sometimes people set goals and they think, okay, and they probably set goals looking at somebody else's accomplishment and think, okay, what they did there, what's taking me so long? Well, you're just seeing the end result. You don't know the background story. Just like me publishing this book and the journaling, the companion guide, those were my first 2 solo projects. Now that they're out, but it was a long process. It wasn't simple. And so when you set realistic goals or unrealistic goals, when you set goals, period, you got to think about, okay, the timeline and the circumstances. It could be financial. It could be family. It's a lot of variables that go into setting goals. So when you have a goal and you create a goal, give yourself ample time to accomplish that goal. Because if you don't, you will set a goal that's unrealistic, and then you won't accomplish it in a timely manner, and then you think you're a failure, and that's just not true. It's just the only thing is the goal it's attainable, but it wasn't set at the right pace. It was unrealistic in the timeline, if that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense, and I think that's it. And I think that's why having that balance there is so important. And I think, too, having examples like yours, Sonya, are important for our audience as well, and that's why I think this book is great for them to be able to get. Again, it's Sonya's little book of quotes, a coffee table guide of fire inspirations, again, helping you to be fearless, be inspired, be resilient, be empowered, and then giving you those prompts to kind of help you along the way. The book is available to our friends at Amazon.com. You all can get it there. I have the Kindle edition, but it also is available in paperback as well, so you can take advantage of that. And make sure you guys let Sonya and others know what you think by writing a review. I'll be writing a review myself. Sonya, a great conversation with you. How can our audience stay connected with you?
The audience can stay connected with me via my LinkedIn, my Facebook, and my Instagram. LinkedIn and Facebook is Sonya Howell Barrow. Okay. And my website is also SonyaHowellBarrow.com. And my Instagram is Entrepreneur Sonya.
We'll make sure that we link that up as well for the website. Sonya, congratulations to you again. Really appreciate the time and looking forward to having you back on the broadcast again.
Thank you so much. And can I have some closing words for the readers?
Definitely, sure. Sure, go ahead.
So, for the readers, as you continue to live your best and blessed life, remember to be grateful to those who tell you no. The no will continue to force you to be fearless, be inspired, be resilient, be empowered to control the outcome of your own destiny. Remember that you hold the pen in your hand to write the future that God has planned for you. And on one final thing, mindful journaling is my focus for this month. And mindful journaling is a form of journaling that allows the writer to be present and show up for their emotions. And this form of journaling is beneficial to writers because it gives the writers creative space to reflect on their personal experiences and how they were impacted by them. And the reason why I bring up the mindful journaling is because I have a companion book that goes with Sonya's little book of quotes. That's the journaling companion. And so with mindful journaling, those who read the original book, the main book, may be interested in incorporating their own thoughts that they have once they interpret my fire quotes. They may have their own interpretation of my fire quotes and might want to journal in the journaling guide. And that's why I brought up the mindful journaling.
And that also is available on Amazon as well. We'll make sure that we link that up as well, Sonya, for them as well. Again, everyone, Sonya's little book of quotes, make sure you guys get either the book or the journal that she just mentioned there. Again, we'll make sure that we link that up for you guys, especially those on the podcast side on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music. You guys can be just to click it there in the notes section there. Sonya, again, looking forward to the next chat together with you.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Hey, glad to do it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live, and let's go make today amazing. Take care.